Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Dear White People, Season 2, Episode 5. It's called Chapter 5, so full spoilers for the episode, as always. So, not a Troy episode.
No, it's not. It's coming. It's coming.
Well, yeah, but you don't get any points for it now, because it's literally went through every other single character.
I know.
You said after Episode 1, next one's going to be Troy. They said after Episode 2, next one's going to be Troy. After Episode 3, next one's going to be Troy.
Look, I definitely said after 2. I don't know if I said after 1.
You said it a few times, and then last episode you said, well, next one has to be Troy now. And I said, no, we still at Joe. And honestly, we still have Gabe as well, so we could have a Gabe episode.
I know. But I feel at this point they'll just save Troy just to do like just the one episode at the end with him.
Maybe.
But I'm going to keep saying every episode that he's next, because it's bound to get to be right eventually.
Yes. 99 corrects, and then one...
Look, I'm just going to play into the joke at this point.
I laughed so much when I realised it was going to be a Joe episode. I started laughing, because I'm like, oh, he's wrong again. This is so good.
I feel like I could probably just check, but that takes the fun out of it.
Yeah, that's cheating. None of that. So this episode was a Joe episode. However, I don't think it got an episode last season.
I don't remember one.
I don't think she got one. I think I commented on that towards the end of the season. I was expecting one, and then we got a couple of doubles. Like, Sam got a second one. I think Reggie got a second one, maybe. Like, a few people got a second. Lionel definitely got a second one. But so it's nice to see her get one this season. It's nice to see her be elevated a little bit in that sense. And this is all about her kind of meeting this guy, played by the actor who plays Agent Dolls on Winona Earp. So there was a moment when I first saw him, and I realised it was him. I went, oh dear. Because he's quite bad on that show. Although, admittedly, it might be the writing of his character more than it is just him.
Yeah, it could be, yeah.
Because he wasn't terrible in this. He was fine.
Yeah, he was alright.
He's fine. It wasn't amazing.
He didn't have anywhere near as much to do.
Yes. But yeah, so she meets him at our anatomy class. They're over a dead body, and there's lots of jokes flying back and forth. And it's about her meeting him, and how she gets kind of defensive and protective about like meeting guys. She actively doesn't want to bring him to the AP house because, well, wants to see Sam. She's suddenly the bridesmaid. She's no longer the bride. Like, she feels like it shifts. Not that she tells Sam that. She dances around it with Sam herself.
I think that's the whole point of this episode, is how she feels that she's always playing second fiddle to Sam.
And to be fair, she never got an episode in season 1, so that oddly lines up with the show.
Yeah. But the scene where they're finally on the radio show, and Sam just doesn't let her speak. Yeah,
because Joe will be saying something, and then she'll she'll keep undercutting. Oh, sorry, Joe, hold that thought. It's time to go to calls. And and Joe's like ready to strangle her, I think, by the end of it.
Because Sam's pretty awful, apparently. From Joe's perspective, at least.
Well, awful's a bit harsh. She's bad at this.
Yeah, but as a friend.
Well, she's good in other ways. She's just bad when it comes to this, and it's not Sam's fault. All the guys just decide to.
Okay, no, that's not Sam's fault, but this is. I'm saying.
She's a bad co-host on a radio show. That doesn't necessarily mean bad friend.
I think the point here is she makes Joe feel undervalued, right?
Oh, sure, this is a heightened version of it. Yes.
Right. So to Joe, she's kind of awful as a friend in that sense.
But I don't think she would say Sam is awful.
Well, she wouldn't say that, but she should think it.
I don't think that's necessarily what she's thinking. I think that's going a bit over the harsh line, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think it's pretty clear.
I think you're simplifying that down a little bit too much.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll get another episode.
It's more nuanced than that.
We'll see.
I don't know why I do the Italian hand when I'm saying nuanced, but I do.
I feel like a lot of people do that.
Yeah. Because I guess nuance is the... Because obviously you do that with Italian food because you're being very careful with your cooking, your ingredients. I guess you're being careful with your words when you're nuanced, and careful of your interpretations when you're nuanced. So I guess it's the verbal version of...
It's the extension of that, yeah. That makes sense. There's a logic.
Yeah, okay. So we solved that mystery. I had good fun. There's a scene in the middle where they're talking about inviting this guy to come. There's a Tessa Thompson cameo, which makes sense because she was in the movie. This isn't that random.
No, it's just funny because she's everywhere.
She is everywhere. But I think, I don't know if she was offered the role of Sam in this, and she just like, no, my movie career is like starting to go nuts, or if she just, didn't want to come and do a TV show. But clearly she's still, close to the people behind it. And
Yeah, it might be that they never even offered it because they just wanted to make it clear that this was a fresh direction.
well, yeah, some of the other actors were in the movie though.
No, that's true.
Because Reggie, because I've not seen the movie, but just from the posters that I've seen, like Reggie's in there. Which, by the way, speaking of Reggie being in things, I've been rewatching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and he's in season 1.
Is he?
Yeah, he's the young cop who runs against Holt to take over the gay black society. I can't remember the name of it. It's a big, long, silly name with a silly acronym.
Right. Okay.
But he's the young cop who comes in and tries to run against him, and Holt's like, we have to destroy him, taking my society away from me.
I remember the episode. Yeah.
No, but anyway, he walked in, and I was like, oh, it's Reggie. I know Reggie now. What up?
Yeah.
So we had this scene where they're talking about this, and they're debating. There's like the Fox News. That's who Tessa Thompson's playing. Is this reporter for Fox News, and they're talking about how she's kind of the puppet. Who's we've got a black person. We're not as racist as everyone says we are, and that's not the Fox News, right? They're awful. Everyone knows this, right? But they're debating this, and I laughed at one point because Reggie, like the white girl who's been around, and one of the people who's in the house now. Has a like, oh, you people moment. And I was on Reggie's side here because what Reggie actually said was some of you people, which I think is the fairest way you could possibly phrase that.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
Some of you people. I mean, it wouldn't be that bad if he did just say you people, but he said some of you people, and she's like, whoa, you people. You just wanted to react to that line. She just wanted to have the moment where she goes, oh, you people.
I think the funnier part is the context of it is you people actually meant you people in the room as well. Like, when he was saying it, and then she took it out and Reggie just ran with it. I was like, yeah, sure, why not?
Oh, yeah, he went going for it, yeah. And so did Sam. Sam sort of chimed in and was like, oh, you don't like being, diminished to just a race?
Well, of course you chimed in.
Yeah, of course, yeah, Sam. Of course you did. But no, I enjoyed that scene. And of course, Joe's had her first encounter with dolls. I'm just going to call them dolls because I don't. What was his name? Was it Trevor? I want to say Trevor. Or something like that.
I don't know. It wasn't that memorable a name, clearly.
Agent Dolls. Joe, what's funny though? I remember the joke when Sam's trying to get it out of her, and she's what's his last name, and she's like Mind Ya. Like, I remember that. I remember the last name being Mind Ya, as for Mind Your Business.
Yeah. That's because it was a joke, and it was funnier.
Yes, it was. And he takes her. He's a really classy gentleman. He takes her for free food because the cooking classes would just throw out what they make. So they'll just get some free food out of it.
It's genius. I'd be there every day.
Well, in my university, the cooking classes, they actually sold the food. Like you got it for like a relatively cheap price, but like they had actual just like the public could like sign up to come in for lunch, and they'd come in and like try what the students had made.
See, I don't know if I'd trust it enough to pay for it. I went to a specialist university. Mine didn't have anything else at it. So.
Yeah, no, they had that, and it wasn't even just the chefs that were training; they were also training the wait staff, which is fair enough. That felt a bit weird to me though. I was like, I mean, isn't the point of wait staff is that almost anyone can just go and do that?
Yeah.
But I mean, whatever.
Apparently not for high end places, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you go to a posh restaurant, they're probably a lot more picky.
Probably. I still feel you just get trained on the job, right?
I guess. Anyway, so very classy. Even though I applaud getting free food, free food's always the best food. Yeah. But I just chuckled to myself at one point. I was like, yeah, you took her on a date to where the food's free.
I think he's judged her and been like, she'll appreciate free food.
That's very judgmental.
Well, I mean, I feel like everyone would appreciate free food.
I mean, he is very judgmental. We find that as the episode goes on.
No, exactly.
He's very opinionated about other people, but yeah, so they seem to hit it off, and she seems to quite like him. He's cracking jokes. They're getting along. There's a really fun little satire scene where they're on the park bench, and the white cop, like the security guard, like comes out, and there's like four white guys like playing with like toy guns, and the cop kind of like pretends he's in on it. He's like, "Oh, you almost hit me!" Oh, and he's joking with them, and then he turns around and there's a black kid getting into his bag for a book, But he gets all suspicious and looks at him and looks in his bag to see what he's pulling out. And on top of this, the kid like had like big glasses on. He looked like a nerd. He looked like the nerd from like an 80s movie.
I mean, the fact that he's pulling out a book just outside tells you it all.
That's where you're going with this. You're judging him for being a nerd by pulling out a book outside.
Yeah. Yeah. Who does that?
I got the impression he was on his way to class and he was just like running late. He was just trying to grab the book he needed.
Yeah, you get it out when you get there, don't you? If you're running late, don't stop and get your book out first. Get there, get in, and then get your book out.
He wanted to glance at something on the way.
And you're telling me I shouldn't be judging him for being a nerd?
Maybe he's got a test. Maybe he's not studied. Maybe he's the opposite of a nerd. He's trying to cram just like a little bit on the trip.
Look, just let me judge.
Jesus
That's the
Christ.
point of this episode.
Well, not that. This is not.
I know.
It's critiquing being judgmental.
I know it is, but I want to do it anyway.
So yeah, obviously it's a very over the top point, but it makes its point very clear, and it is like a really good satire scene. And then she eventually brings it back, and there's a couple of comments he makes here or there. It's a little bit like, because he says he doesn't want to go AP house at first because he sees them as they all talk and no action, and it's like okay, whatever.
We have him go and read buried books.
That's right. Yes. But he's very, very passionate, and he gets to AP house, and very quickly he starts criticizing the shitty TV show they're watching, for because they're all enjoying the absurdity and shittiness of it, and because they shit watch it. We've seen this before, and he's like, "No, hey, this is why there's such a bad view of us. They're the only popular black show on TV. The characters are like this," and he gets very argumentative about it. And he then starts dropping homophobic slurs because one of them's a gay character, and he's like, he starts dropping slurs left and right, and Joe's just like, what? And it's like, okay, I can kind of see where this might be going in a minute. And then he calls Sam, what was it, a mutt or a mongrel? It was basically because she's mixed race. Because he comments on that at one point earlier on, not as harshly, but Joe kind of picks up on it and says, hey, no, she's my friend, don't.
But enough that you can kind of let it slide as just a misspoke almost.
Yeah, because he says, she's light skinned and she's always getting up in everyone's business, and he sort of has like a sort of his attitude kind of shitty, but he's like, okay, he's not necessarily.
It's something we got a bit of last season as well. The implication that she has it a bit easier than some of them. And she kind of coasts on that, and that's kind of what the first.
Whether she actually does or doesn't, I think's open for debate.
Right. That wasn't point, but we've had that perception thrown around, and I think the first time he says it here kind of just feels like that, like we've had a few times in the show. So but when she calls it out, but it doesn't feel too bad. Yeah,
and it's one of those things where if this was all he ever did, it's okay, right, fine, but it does feel like a warning sign. It feels like, this should be raising your red flag a little bit. And then eventually he, when Sam confronts him on something and Reggie's there, and, it becomes like a very tense episode, actually, towards the end. Where it becomes this, him accusing them of not being black enough, essentially. And then even saying, you hang around with this, I can't remember what the insult was for Sam, and then you hang around with Gabe, because Gabe shows up. Because that's one of the other little subplots in this one, is that she's been meeting up with Gabe, like a secret agent. She goes with the big glasses on, and he's like, hey, Joe, you could just,
The lighting in the room where they go to, and the colour grading,
the library,
just...
even the framing, they frame it from the side. It's this profile shot of the two of them, and it has this feeling that everyone's around them is really busy, but they're in the middle of a storm talking in secret.
Do you know it almost looks like a prison meeting scene.
Yeah, almost. Yeah,
that's kind of the way it's filmed.
Yeah, but clearly they're being friendly and they're getting on, and Joe's not waiting to tell Sam about this, and Sam kind of reacts when she finds out at the end. But they're kind of preoccupied with Dolls here, going apeshit and dropping slurs, being very argumentative, basically being this person who's angry at everything. And Reggie eventually punches him, and it's really satisfying. And you're rooting for Reggie at this point.
Yes, you are.
You're very rooting for him. Joe kind of like, hey, I thought you didn't use your fist to solve problems. Like, you already solved the problem. I was
just wanted to have some fun.
I was cleaning up the mess. He's punched very his mouth is really, really punchable. And it actually ends very similar to his episode where she looks right at the camera. That's how we cut to credits. She looks at the camera. But it's kind of implying that, okay, she's kind of been hiding her feelings for Reggie. She's been kind of like, putting them away because, you can't have this thing with Sam.
But then him coming out and punching this dick is just reigniting the flames a bit.
Yeah, he stepped in and helped her out. And it felt very much like he was on his own. Like everyone in the house was like sort of around him, being like, "What's this?" And of course, the big plot point here for later is that the secret person who's inside the house, who's tweeting this stuff on this account that we've been seeing all season, the harassment. Immediately tweets out, "Oh, black on black violence, NAP house," and Sam's looking at, and it's actually almost like a spy movie again. She's looking around for the.
It's like, who is it? Yeah,
who's the mole? Like someone's in the
pretty
room.
much.
That's kind of what it feels like. So it's setting up the plot stuff like that, and I think in terms of Joe's stuff, it was a really effective episode because I think this is a type of character. And again, I'm calling him Dolls because unfortunately his character name's not. I always have the IMDb list up, but his character name's not there, which is why I'm calling him by his Winona Earp character.
But it wasn't interesting enough for anyone to bother updating it yet.
It's probably, yeah. But we've not had a character like him who's showing this extreme end where he's, because obviously Sam and our characters are very, very outspoken, and they're very, and that's actually the big thing. Actually, I forgot to mention Troy when Troy comes in the scene, and he actually, he throws an insult at Troy. That's kind of what kicks it all off. Is he actually says to Troy, "Oh, thanks for proving them right," when they smashed the window, critiquing that and insulting them for it. And, Troy's immediately like, what did you just say? And everyone sort of starts to rally around that. But we've not had this type of character on the show yet. We've had a lot of different perspectives, because the show's been very good at having different perspectives of all the issues that have come up. This is a very different one.
It is, yeah.
That shows a very extreme end. I think the show obviously needed to hit at some point, and it wouldn't surprise me if we see him again in some capacity.
Yeah, maybe. I can see him being vilified further, depending on where we go.
Yeah. I mean, we may never see him again, but at the same time, I could see him popping up again on the other side of a debate somewhere.
No, I can see that.
I could totally see that happening. But it's funny because he's the character who comes in and says, "Why are you even wasting time arguing?" Because obviously we have a scene in the middle where they're debating with a couple of the new white housemates, and they're kind of putting up with some stupid arguments, but they're talking to them, and everyone's like trying to understand, even if it's kind of goofy, and they're kind of making stupid complaints or criticisms. He's the character who says, "Why are you even wasting your time? They're the enemy." That's kind of his attitude.
Yeah, it's not worth being civil with them.
Yeah, because that's actually it neatly follows on actually from the radio show when Sam and Joe are talking about how you're saying that we're planning like white genocide or whatever. It's like, we don't have time for white genocide. We're too tired. So no, it kind of followed on neatly from that joke into the rest of the episode. So. No, as always, the show keeps surprising me in how it's integrating other elements and other issues or other sides of issues into its plot.
It's very well rounded, isn't it?
It is. And it's funny, it's like I never felt like this was missing last season, this type of character. But now that he's here, I'm like, of course this type of character had to show up at some point. Of course we had to deal with him.
It was only a matter of time.
Yeah. So no, it makes a lot of sense. So I thought it was very good. Because obviously the Coco episode, last episode, was very good, but it was very obviously they're all character focused episodes, but that was very much dealing with something different for the most part. It was kind of like pivoting out to
it was a lot more personal to her. Yeah. Whereas all these are a lot wider issues typically that we see we usually see how they play beyond just one person and how they play to the group at large.
Yes. But actually, just because obviously the abortion makes you think of women's rights, and one of the things that comes up when Dolls here has been a complete asshole is he kind of gets really sexist as well, and he's like, he's like, black women have it the worst. Sure, no, black men are the ones who are the hardest done by, and she kind of like combats that, and it's just like, this is sexism within a race group, and it's like, okay, so now we're getting into layers of, social problems.
It's an extension of what we had last season where we had all the different black societies kind of trying to figure out who was the best way to represent them.
Yeah, and the idea that seemed like a civil-friendly debate now compared to that.
Right, exactly. But it was the idea of, even though they're all ultimately on the same side, they have the same wider goal. at the end of it. They have very different ideologies within that, and this is just an extension of that, and taking it of you can get even more extreme than what we saw last season.
Yeah. So no, I thought this was a really good episode in bringing that stuff up, and it was great to give Jo a bit of spotlight because she didn't get it last season.
She's often just kind of left on the side, isn't she?
Yeah, she's the best friend, which is actually why that whole she feels that she's always the bridesmaid actually kind of fits in. Yeah,
it does.
It works.
So on the mole.
Okay. Yes.
Do you think it's actually one of the new White House mates? I feel like it's got more dramatic potential if it's not.
I can't see it being one of the Black Housemates though.
I know that's the thing that I'm like, why would they be doing that if it is? But
unless there's someone who just has got like a real vendetta against Sam specifically. But even then, like that tweet in this episode wasn't really aimed at her. That was just general, racism. So
right.
no, I think like maybe it's
I think the problem is we don't really know any of the White House mates well enough to.
No, because we've got Reggie's roommate who's had a few jokes. We've got the girl who keeps like having the inane comments.
But we couldn't name them.
No, we couldn't. No.
Like, which is my point. It's like, okay, if it turns out to be one of these people, it doesn't quite have the same impact as if it's someone that we actually, know, right?
Yeah.
This is kind of like, last year when we were like, okay, who phoned the cops for Reggie, right? Who phoned campus security, and we had that. Oh, who was it? And it was okay. How does this affect them on a personal level? Because of who it is, not just what they did. This is the same here, where I'm like, who it is has got to matter a little bit. I think.
Yeah, it depends what they do with it.
Yeah,
it depends what they do with it. I mean, I suppose they've set it up now that we have to find out who it is. Because part of me would have thought that maybe you play this in such a way where it doesn't matter who it is. Like we never have to find out.
Right, but they've been playing it up where physically looking around the person.
Yeah, so at this point we kind of have to have a resolution to it.
Yeah.
It depends. Like if we suddenly get to know a white character really well,
like prime suspect.
I wonder if it's this one.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I mean, Gabe was there for this scene, but Gabe's not. I mean, not that I suspect Gabe anyway, but like even if you wanted to accuse him of it, he's not been around in the house, barring this scene.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, yeah. I don't know.
I think is it funnier though if they kind of go it's the secret society route almost where it's all of these white characters are all on the same account, so it's not just one person.
I don't know what message. I don't know if I like the message that every single white character in the house is secretly conspiring together to be racist. That feels a bit.
I don't like that either, but I think it's almost funnier if it's not just one person.
Yeah. I actually don't know. I don't know who it could be. I'm not going to be too. I'm not going to anticipate it too much because I feel like wanting a good surprise or resolution from this might be something you can complain about if you don't get it. So I'm just going to let it do its thing.
No, it's fair. And I wasn't too bothered about it before this episode, but once they kind of at the end of this it really felt like they're setting it up as a mystery.
Yeah, I still think it'll be someone we only barely know.
Nah, that's quite possible.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be anyone we know too well. It'll be someone we've maybe met once or twice.
Makes sense.
I don't actually think it's going to be one of these two jokey characters that we've been seeing a lot of, though. I don't think it's going to be one of those two, just because.
Yeah, I can see the potential in it of, they put up this jokey front, almost, like in almost harmless, innocent front, but they're actually, awful.
Yeah, because it just feels like this really sort of immature kind of silliness.
Because like the pair of them, they've never felt, that bad. They're kind of harmless, right? Even to the other characters, they're kind of a joke.
Oh yeah, they're kind of these silly, like ignorant kind of character, not someone who's actively spouting hate speech. Right,
exactly. So I mean, the potential of it being one of them, I guess, is the idea of, that you don't really know the people around you. You don't know who it could be. Which
is a fair message if they want to go down that route, because how many times do we go through this process of like, oh, this person's actually like a complete alt-right nut job. Like, and you never knew,
It's almost an extension of what we got in this episode with Dolls, right? He seems kind of normal.
That's true, yeah. It could mirror that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Which was maybe because I joked there, or maybe we'll meet one white character who we get to know a lot for one episode, and then it turns out to be them. But if they do that, I guess the defense is that, well, that's what we just did with Dolls. It kind of mirrors that really well. Yeah. If they do that, so that's fair.
There's potential whatever they choose to do.
Yeah. So. No, that's episode 5. That's chapter 5 of Dear White People. So let us know what you thought of this one in the comments below. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv, you can support us over there. You can also get a handy list of links to all the different audio feeds and YouTube shows that we do. But otherwise, that is us. There should be another episode of this, or a review of this coming up before the end of the week, so look forward to that. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching. Keep watching TV, guys, and we will see you next time.